Hello. In Irwin's first introduction as a teacher, he is described as the new boy. He is youthful and youthful to such an extent that the students, Scripps in this case, doesn't view him as a teacher. Let's take a look. Scripps says, "I'd been on playground duty. I thought he was a new boy, which of course he was, so I smiled. And then it becomes clear that he's not a student, but a member of staff." Scripps here becomes an interesting character because effectively he is our narrator. And on moments like this, we would see Scripps talking directly to the audience, ignoring the action of whatever's going on over there or over there as Irwin walks onto the stage and the headmaster appears, addressing the audience directly. What does he say in this direct address of the audience? Hector had said that if I wanted to write, I should keep a notebook. And there must have been something furtive. What does furtive mean? Something about his actions that was trying to avoid attention, because I wrote it down. I called it kind of secretive, clandestine, a word I just learned and wasn't sure how to pronounce. Scripps then moves off of the stage. To all intents and purposes, he's not much of a feature in the rest of it. And then we see Irwin and the headmaster talk. What do they say? Well, broadly speaking, the scene is about the headmaster saying that he wants to improve the school's reputation. But this is the scene where the headmaster is perceived as a fool. How? He wants these boys to go to Oxford and Cambridge. He asks Irwin where he went. Irwin says, Oxford, Jesus College in Oxford. Prestigious, high-performing sort of college at Oxford. Irwin asks the headmaster, where did you go? I was a geographer. I went to Hull. The audience here are meant to laugh. Oh gosh, what a fool. Hull, this sort of lower-ranking university. And yet here he is, this pushy headmaster, itching to get these boys off to Oxford and Cambridge so he can crow about it, so he can show off, so he can celebrate the school's success. Hull. Ugh. Now, I don't have any hard feelings against Hull, but Bennett uses Hull as a punchline, which may or may not be fair. However, Hull University is significant and known in many respects for who its librarian was. Its librarian at much of the sort of 60s, 70s, and 80s was the sort of nationally renowned poet Philip Larkin. And many of you might have actually come across some of his poems over the course of your study at school. The headmaster, however, isn't interested in talking about Larkin, the insinuation being that he doesn't know anything about him. He's disinterested in literature. He's disinterested in poetry. And what he does instead is he gives an overview of the boys, sort of. He just says they're capable enough, they're a likely lot. One oddity though, and he singles out Rudge, determined to try for Oxford and Christchurch of all places. No hope. Might get in at Loughborough in a bad year if he's lucky. Otherwise, all bright. But they need polish, edge. Your job. We are low in the league. I want to see us up there with Manchester Grammar School, Haberdashers' Asks, Leighton Park. Or is that an open prison, he says. No matter. The head is a fool. How can we see that he's a fool? For numerous reasons. His dismissive disregard for Rudge isn't really what teachers are supposed to do. That's the first thing. Number two, he says they need polish and they need edge. But polish is completely different to edge. So which is it? Does he want Irwin to smooth off the rough edges with some polish and make them shiny and gleaming and bright? Or does he want them to be quirky, edge? Does he want them to be sort of rough? He's a Wally. Maybe we don't write that he's a Wally. We recognise the headmaster as the archetypal fool, the stock fool character who Bennett uses to attack the education system. If this guy is in charge, if this sort of man is the head teacher, what hope do we have? And that is continued still further with the next joke. The joke is Manchester Grammar School is a high-performing school. Haberdasher Asks is a high-performing set of schools, I believe it is now. Leighton Park, well, that ain't no school, that's a prison. So this headmaster who is in charge of getting these people up the league tables and improving the school's reputation, that's what he's most concerned with. He doesn't know whether Leighton Park is a school or a prison. Maybe Bennett here is suggesting that school is prison, that they're one and the same, that schools inhibit and confine and contain young people. And instead of allowing them to blossom and be free and be intellectually curious, it does rather the opposite. And then it finishes with a discussion of the timetable. Irwin wants more lessons. The headmaster says it's difficult because Mr. Hector wants to keep his lessons. And the last section of this particular scene. In the circumstances, we may be able to filch an hour, may be able to steal, to take an hour. You're very young. Grow a moustache. I'm thinking classroom control. And again, just in case it wasn't clear that the headmaster's a fool, it's reinforced now. Because if we were to imagine that growing a moustache would instantly mean that a class of maybe difficult, challenging 15 and 16-year-olds, 30 of them, would suddenly make them all be wonderfully behaved, then I think we've got another thing coming. The way that teachers tend to get students on side is by knowing their stuff and having high expectations and sticking to their guns, really, doing what you say more of the time than not. But no, a moustache will do that for you. What a fool. There we are. And there's the headmaster, in essence. And that's it for this particular video. Introduction to Irwin as a teacher and further reinforcement of what the headmaster embodies. And what does the headmaster embody? He is a fool character. He's a fool. And as a fool, if he is the best that the education system can muster, then that doesn't bode well for the education system. Thanks very much.